What we rep, Lafayette, Jeff, Broncos, let's go. All cash, no brakes, LJ for L, let's play. What we rep, Lafayette, Jeff, Broncos, let's go. All cash, no brakes, LJ for L, let's play. What we rep, Lafayette, Jeff, Broncos.
Welcome to the All Gas No Brakes podcast. I'm radio TV director Jamie Long, and to the right of me, as always, is Jeff head football coach Pat Shanley. This is week 2. Going into week 2, we got Merrillville this week. We're going to talk about last week. We're going to talk about this week, and then you got a little bit of the player spotlight going on. So let's get started. Let's touch on last week. Tough loss. What things did you learn about your team last week?
Yeah, I mean, we're young. We knew that going into it. I never really crunched the numbers, but we played 11 guys against Chatard that had a lot of game experience, and that includes special teams. And 23 guys had significant playing time, played a lot of football on Friday night, where it was their first time really under the lights. That's a big number, and I think much larger than what we've had the last 2 years, against a really, really good opponent with 34 seniors in Chatard. And we're not into moral victories. We didn't get off to a good enough start. We had really we gave them good field position to start. They put together a long drive. We didn't get off the field on third down, and then we turned around, went 3 and out, and had a poor punt, and they had a short field again. So before we could really blink, we're down 14-0. But what we learned about our team is that, once we settled in, we got a bunch of really competitive kids and a group that is talented. They are coachable. They're willing to accept their mistakes. They're not going to blame others or complain or defend their actions. They just want to get better, and they realize that we do have a lot of potential. So, again, I guess to summarize, man, we got a long ways to go. As coaches, we've got our work cut out for us, but we do believe in this group. And we do believe that we have a good football team here.
As far as your skilled positions go, quarterback, running back, receivers, how did they look, going forward, do you think?
Offensively, we were 34% efficient. That's the lowest we've been since 2023 in a single game. We had 4 turnovers. You're not going to win games doing that. We were 14% conversion on third down. So those 3 things combined into one, it was a poor offensive performance, which falls on my shoulders. Our guys that are back, that are a year older, need to play like they're a year better instead of just being a year older. And we need to coach them better, and we need to bring along these guys that are new faces, new to Friday nights, and making sure we're putting them in a better position to be successful. So, again, it was. I thought our defense played really, really well at times. They defended 20 more snaps than we did the year before against Chatard. We held Danny Adams really in check until the fourth quarter, and we held that team to 4 yards per carry. And that was an offense that brought back 8 starters from the previous year. So on paper, they were a much better offense. And again, I think at times, defensively, we defended them much better than we did the year before. So, in special teams, our kicking game, aside from our first punt and our first kickoff, we're really strong. So hopefully we got those early game jitters out of our way. I think we're going to have a good defense. I think our kicking game is going to be strong. Our return game on special teams has to improve greatly. Our kickoff return was really, really bad on Friday night. So we're going to be making some changes there, both schematically and from a personnel standpoint. There, hopefully we can get a little bit more out of that, where we can gain a little bit more of an advantage with field position as well.
It looks like so far this is we got 1 game, but this season's kind of mirroring what last season was. So it seemed like your after game speech was probably closer to the speech you gave last year. How did you deal with that? As far as did you draw on what you said last year?
Not really. Okay. It's a different team. Last year we had 32 seniors. This year we have 22 seniors, and 2 of them are going to be out a few weeks. And two the guys that would be returning guys that played a lot of football last year. So we are much less experienced this year than what we were at this time last year. And last year we had a lot of guys that were leaders in 2024, whereas this year we don't have the quantity of guys that really had to lead last year because, again, we had such big personalities in last year's senior class. So it's new to a lot of these guys, and they're learning. and they're growing. And again, what I like most about them is they take ownership of their mistakes. They recognize Friday night wasn't good enough, and we've got to get better, and they want to get better. So it is a talented group and all that. But, just drawing on the speech, I guess, I don't know, man. I don't really map that out or plan it. You hope to give a post-game victory speech, right? But you kind of just go with what your heart and your gut. We got to get better. And that was the message is if I'm blaming Mr. Long and I'm blaming the quarterback or I'm blaming the play calls or I'm not getting the playing time, if we're blaming others and we're complaining about the results and we're defending our mistakes, there's not going to be growth. We're not going to get where we're going to want to be. We cannot implode from within. And I don't think this group's going to let that happen, again, because there is accountability and there is an acceptance for the fact that we got to be better. So, we're looking forward to turning the page in Merrillville. We got another good opponent and another opportunity to play a good team where we're going to see, did we get better or did we not?
All right, so last week we talked about the offense and the defense, and we didn't have much time to talk about the special teams.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you the opportunity. What are you looking forward to seeing in the special teams team this year, and going forward, how are you going to use that strategically?
Well, both Madden Gifford and Bobby Hoffman are returning starters. Madden is a 4.5-star Coles kid. He's ranked as the number 2 kicker in the state. He hasn't really put that out there for people to see, but I think it's something he should be pretty proud of. And then Bobby, last year as a sophomore, set the school record for punting average in a season. And he's much better than he was a year before. Additionally, we've got a couple of guys that are vying to be the long snapper. Owen Haverkamp in his first varsity action had a great night, snapped more than we wanted to, punted more than we wanted to, but he did a great job. His operation time was really, really good. So those guys are really good. Coach Tom Riva does a great job. We really involve our assistant coaches, and our kids really buy into special teams. And, again, our kick coverage on Friday night was good. We averaged, despite our first punt being 15 yards, we still had a punt average of over 38 yards. So Bobby hit a 50-plus yarder. He hit a 40-plus yarder. And again, our operation time was really, really good. And I think those groups are going to continue to get better. We just got to get better at special teams. But, we do think our overall units and groups, we got the right mix of people, and the want to is there to have a special year in that phase of the game.
About 20 years ago, I was covering football every Friday night for WLFI, and I always noticed that high schools didn't really embrace the special teams, didn't really embrace the kicking team. Has that changed? How's that evolved over the last 20 years?
Well, if you're serious about winning, you have to spend time on it. And honestly, and I'm not placing blame, but you look at the 3 regional championships we've been in the last 4 years. Each phase of the game could have made a play to change the outcome. Offense, defense, and special teams. So we're actually spending more time on special teams this year than what we've had in previous years because it is important. Coach Rivas says it a lot to the guys, and it really resonates. It's not a lot of plays, but it's a whole lot of impact. Just the field position and the ability to swing the game. If I don't know the exact statistics, but you could look at data. When you're making explosive plays on special teams, if you're blocking a punt, if you're returning a kick for a touchdown, that tends to swing the game in your favor. So, we got to make sure we're getting the type of production out of that unit and those units that are going to help us, win each and every Friday night. And again, thank goodness for Coach Riva. He's a really experienced guy. He's been the head coach at St. Joe. He's coached semi-pro ball. He's been a high school head coach. We're really fortunate to have Tom Riva leading that unit.
How much do you believe in the fact that special teams is also important to get sometimes if these kids aren't quite at the level to start on offense or defense, it gets them on the field?
Yeah, and it's huge. And again, going back to Coach Riva, he really preaches that. He'll go to our JV games and evaluate how guys are playing and make those fits. And, we try to get as many starters on there as we can, but, naturally throughout the course of the game with how we play, you're going to have subs and things like that as well. So it's opportunities for guys that maybe aren't immediate starters to jump up there. One name that really stands out to me as a senior right now as a sophomore. Miles Stetler, as a sophomore on our 24 team, was just lights out on kickoff. Riley Perkins, as a junior, wasn't a starter, but as a junior, he was flying down on kickoff. Coach Riva does a great job identifying, just what you mentioned there, those types of kids that, maybe aren't the starters that are going to really sell out to it and buy into it and understand that it can swing the game.
Absolutely. Well, we got another game coming up this Friday, right? That's the way the football season works.
Yep.
Next up, Merrillville. What have you scouted on this team, and how are you guys going to attack the situation?
First of all, they're extremely well coached. We're very familiar with them. Coach Cease has been there a long time. We've played them 3 times in the playoffs, and we're 0 for 3, unfortunately. Coach Sabinas has been there a long time. He was their D coordinator, is now their O coordinator. They've had a tight-knit staff that's been together a long time. They were 5A runner-ups last year, and they bring back their starting quarterback, their most dynamic offensive player. Their box on defense is lights out. I mean, it is a really, really good box. They only brought back 3 starters, but it looks like a really experienced group. They've got a lot of seniors on that defense, and they're really, really tough and really, really well coached. So they do what they do. They do it well. Their offense coordinator, Coach Sabinas, he's really good at identifying your weaknesses, and he's going to attack them until you stop it. He's what I would call a repeater. He's going to, and he's going to have change-ups off of his repeats. So he's a really, really good coach, and they have really, really talented players, starting with their quarterback, who's a preseason Mr. Football candidate, Michael Hill.
This might be a preview for you could possibly meet them in the postseason?
No, they're 6A.
Okay. Oh, they're 6A.
Yeah, so
okay.
they bumped up, I believe, because of enrollment. But yeah, they are in the same sectional as Harrison, Crown Point, and I believe Lake Central. But so they're not. We're 5A, they're 6A. We would not see them in the playoffs, so which is a good thing, right? So we scrimmaged them this summer at Wabash Team Camp, so our kids are familiar with each other, and it's a great week 2 opponent to kind of measure how much you've improved from week 1 and to help prepare you for November.
How did you initially prepare for this? Did you watch the tape from them last week, and what are some of the things that you were looking at on their team that you're going to start preaching this week? Yeah,
without giving away the goods. I mean, you study the personnel first, I think. Who are they? You try to find some tendencies. You enter a lot of data. You break down that data. You see what the data tells you, and you begin to formulate your game plan based off those things, the players and the data, right? Again, without giving away the goods, that's kind of a simple way of saying this is kind of how we do it. Look at the players, enter the data, and then take that data and begin to formulate a plan that makes sense and put your players in a position to be successful, you hope.
All right. Coach, thanks for being here this week. We got Merrillville this Friday at the Shoe at 7:30.
7:30.
Be there, be square. You can also listen to it live on Jeff 92, or you can go to the game.
Be there.
And listen to Jeff 92 on your headset.
That would work.
So that's a lot of people do that.
Yeah. I hear our new Jeff 92 guys did exceptionally well.
Yes, Brody Yonker and Drew Gibson. They did an excellent job. So you're going to be looking forward to listening to them for the next couple of years, especially this Friday, right at 7:30, Merrillville versus Jeff. You've been watching the All Gas No Brakes podcast. Until next week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go Broncos.
What we rep, Lafayette, Jeff, Broncos, let's go. All cash, no brakes, LJ for air, let's play. What we rep, Lafayette, Jeff, Broncos, let's go. All cash, no brakes, LJ for air, let's play. What we rep, Lafayette, Jeff, Broncos.